So many people fear middle age. People think they're middle-aged when they're 30, 35, 40, and obviously above. But there's this fear, panic, uncertainty, this assumption that life is now downhill, that you become invisible in society, that you're destined to have a body that changes and becomes weak. And what people fail to realize is that midlife is actually an opportunity. And it is an opportunity that is missed by the vast majority of people. So, what do I mean by that? Yes, things are changing. Even if your weight's under control, that the skin is changing, energy is changing, stress levels, maybe anxiety, mood, things are changing for both men and women, for all of us. And there's this thought that this is the end, everything is going to get worse. And the reality is, if you don't take control of midlife, that is the truth. So if we don't take control of midlife, then what does the next chapter look like? What do our, 70s, 80s, maybe 90s look like if we don't get a grip on our middle years? So rather being fearful of them, frustrated by them, let's take control of them. And that's what mastering midlife is about. This is about showing you the opportunity to change the narrative, not live the experience that is lived by most people. And to do so, it doesn't take that much effort. It just means understanding what's going on, understanding the obstacles, and seeing how to implement in many cases, very simple solutions. So this program, it is an in-depth program. We cover the 6 hormones that change your body composition with age, what to do about those, why for a lot of people they make things a lot worse. We're going to talk about supplements. That in itself can be very confusing. There's always the new supplements. So what are the key ones to take? And what are maybe some optional ones you can take depending on your main concern? We're going to talk about how to read your blood work. Now, I do this in all my programs, and this time it's specifically for midlife. What should you be looking at? And not just, are you normal, but are you optimal? And if you're not, how to get there? There's some interesting ratios we can look at with regards to estrogen dominance or overtraining or muscle breakdown. That's really freeing when you understand how to read your own numbers. We're going to talk about training, and there are workouts available to you in the app. How things change, things like fasting, keto, high intensity interval training, things like that. Their role changes with midlife. We're going to talk about our health on a cellular level. So this is where you're hearing words like buzzwords like mitochondria and NAD plus and glutathione and peptides and molecules. And there's a lot of buzz going on right now. So let's break those all down and see how they relate to you, because we really do live in a fascinating time. By the end of this program, I can promise you a few things. The number one thing I can promise you is you'll know more about body composition than 95% of the gurus out there. And I can say that really pretty confidently. You will have a clear strategy that you will be excited about. You will see that the work that needs to be done really isn't that difficult. And the obstacles that you perceive as bad are actually incredible opportunities for growth. The program comes with full access to me, which in itself is priceless. There is 10 or 11 live coaching calls, all recorded. And there is a content library with, at last count, I think there was 70 pieces of content in there that you can work your way through for a good 6 months or it might even be a year after the program is finished. So, there's a lot of content, but you don't have to get through it during the live coaching time. There's plenty of time after that. There are obviously meal plans, but and they're optional. If you don't want to use them, you don't have to. But what is great about the meal plans is every meal, every food that I use has a purpose. There's a reason I've used that food. And again, in the apps, the meals are all there. You get a PDF where I actually explain why I've used certain foods and the benefit of. So this is a very comprehensive program. It is an inspiring program. You will also, by the end of this program, be excited. You will be inspired about not just what is, possible for you, but what is actually probable for you. Because, you know, we can, the narrative goes that midlife, everything changes, you lose muscle, you get weak, your skin gets slack, your energy goes down, oh, you get anxiety. This is the narrative that we're fed, and yet we know it's not true. And we know it's not true because we all know somebody that is a similar age to us, and they're rocking their body, they're doing all sorts of activity, and they're living their best life. And they're not better than you. They're not smarter than you. What do they know that you don't? You know you can be an outlier, and this program is designed to show you how to be that outlier. But again, I stress that midlife is an opportunity, and if you miss it, as most people do, the following chapter in your life is not going to be great. In fact, it's going to be a real challenge. So I invite you to join me. My groups are large enough to be dynamic, but small enough to be personal. They're always a lot of fun. 80% of my people come back and redo programs over and over again. And every time I run this program, it is never the same program twice. So the program for this year is going to be very different from the program last year or the year before. I get more information, I learn more, and I pass it on to you guys. So, Mastering Midlife, I do hope you will join.